everyone, my name is Esther. I am a senior in the computer science department and a recipient of the Jewish Studies Research Award, which enabled me to pursue Yiddish language learning at the YIVO Institute this semester. The fact that I consider myself a Yiddishist is in no small part due to the Yiddish language opportunities offered at Rutgers. Coming to Rutgers, I knew that I wanted to engage with my Jewish identity in a meaningful way, and Yiddish was on my radar, but it seemed inaccessible at the time. So learning that Rutgers offered Yiddish through the Big Ten Academic Alliance Course Share program and the 2 semesters that I spent learning with Professor Mahalel through the University of Maryland opened up a whole world, culturally, academically, and socially speaking. The language is significant to me not just because of personal sentimental reasons, but because there is so much that has been locked on the other side of a linguistic barrier. There's literature, history, and ways of expression that are uniquely Jewish. Learning it felt like an important act of cultural continuity, although the Yiddish of the classroom is so different from the vast majority of vernacular Yiddishes. And so it was because of the Yiddish language curriculum at Rutgers that I was motivated to apply to the Steiner program at the Yiddish Book Center, which is located on the campus of Hampshire College in Amherst. It was at the Steiner program that I worked as an archival intern, transcribing and transliterating the contents of Gerechtigkeit, the weekly Yiddish periodical published by the International Ladies Garment Workers Union. The ILGWU is an extremely important and influential organization in the history of labor activism, and was responsible for organizing noteworthy strikes like the Great Revolt of 1910 and the Uprising of the 20,000, and it had a huge Yiddish-speaking constituency, including a mostly Jewish board for much of its existence. Some of the people pictured in this photograph here, although they were part of a local board, would later go on to edit and write for Gerechtigkeit. So the newspaper itself is very interesting because the ILGWU published it alongside other weekly newspapers, which were written in the various primary languages of its constituents. However, each newspaper appears to have been written and edited separately rather than being translations of the same text. So seeing what each newspaper highlighted was often a lesson in what the different groups valued or were invested in at the time. So being able to make those archives accessible and searchable was extremely gratifying because it felt like an act of unsealing the history of Yiddish speakers who were involved in this pivotal political movement. And here's a page of advertisements from Gerechtigkeit, and these are some strikers during the uprising of the 20,000. So coming out of that program, I knew that I had to continue studying Yiddish, and again, the Jewish Studies department came through. Because of their award, I was able to sign up for lessons at YIVO, which is the famous Institute for the Preservation of Yiddish Culture and Language, which is now housed at the Center for Jewish History in New York City. It's responsible for developing the standardized Yiddish that's spoken in classrooms worldwide. And it was at the YIVO Institute that I ended up unexpectedly reuniting with old classmates of mine who took Yiddish with Professor Mahalel. It feels extremely special that we found each other again in Yiddish land. So I would like to thank everyone in the Jewish Studies department who has made this whole journey possible. I can say with certainty that I would not have gotten this far with Yiddish if it hadn't been for the support, resources, and academic strength of the Jewish Studies department. And beyond just Yiddish, the courses that I've taken and the work that I've done within Jewish Studies have sincerely been the most formative and meaningful of anything that I've done in college. So I would like to thank Professor Mahalel, Professor Drinkwater, Professor Rensberg, and Professor Chandler for their wonderful teaching, guidance, and for shaping my college experience so profoundly. Thank you.